Greetings. Welcome to the official YouTube channel Pettaka Technologies. In this video, let's see how to calculate max per category in Power BI. Max per category calculation returns the largest value for each category in a column. In this sample dataset, we have project table which contains two columns. First column, project name, contains various projects handled by the organization, and in second column, time taken, contains total duration to complete the respective project. Using this source data, let's calculate max per category with the help of DAX functions in Power BI. We also explain you how we can achieve the max per category calculation using DAX functions in various methods with the help of explicit measure, calculated column, and in quick measure. Then we visualize the final output in table visual. Let's start with first method. We use DAX functions in explicit measure to calculate max per category in Power BI. To create new measure, select New Measure from Table Tools tab. Measures are used in some of the most common data analysis. The calculated results of measures are always changing in response to your interaction with your reports. It aggregates data from one or more columns or tables in a data model. Measures are more flexible as they can be calculated on the fly and updated in real time as the underlying data changes. Once you click on New Measure, we can see the formula bar where we can write the DAX to calculate max per category in Power BI. For renaming a measure name, we can double click the measure and type your desired name. We have renamed the new measure as max TT, is the short form of maximum time taken. After you change the name of your measure, in the related report, the underlying dataset has been changed. Start writing the DAX function to calculate max per category with calculate function. Calculate function is the often used DAX function in Power BI. Even though calculate function cannot do anything, it works as a base function to apply other DAX functions in different scenarios. In this example, we want to apply a filter and find the max time taken for each project. In this case, we can use the calculate function to apply the filter and arrive at calculations. So, the calculate function evaluates the expression given by the user with all the applied filters. The syntax of the calculate function is calculate, open parenthesis, expression, comma, filter 1, comma, filter 2, and closing parenthesis. Expression parameter is nothing but what is the expression we need to perform. Filter 1 parameter is based on the expression given what is the filter we need to apply. Filter 2 parameter is based on the expression given what is the second set of filters we need to apply. An expression is the first option in calculate DAX function. So we use max function to find the maximum value in time taken column from project table. Max DAX function returns the largest value in a column or the larger value between two scalar expressions. It ignores logical values. Strings are compared according to alphabetical order. Filter 1 parameter of calculate DAX function, we use filter DAX function which returns a table that represents a subset of another table or expression. The syntax of filter DAX function is filter, open parenthesis, table, comma, filter, closing parenthesis. For first parameter table, input can be a table or it can also be an expression that results in a table. Second parameter filter is a Boolean expression that is to be evaluated for each row of the table. In table parameter of filter DAX function, we use all selected DAX function and selected the project table. The all selected function returns all the rows in a table or all the values in a column, ignoring any filters that might have been applied inside the query, but keeping filters that come from outside. For second parameter of filter DAX function, we provide filter expression as project name column from project table is equal to maximum of project name column from project table. That's it. We are done. Close the parenthesis of filter DAX function and calculate DAX function and press the enter key to see the results of this measure. After you have created a new measure, it will appear in one of the tables on the fields pane, which is found on the right side of the screen. Power BI inserts the new measure into whichever table you have currently selected, while it doesn't matter exactly where the measure is in your data. You can easily move it by selecting the measure. You can use a measure like any other table column. Just drag and drop it onto the report canvas or visualization fields. Let's visualize the output in table visual. Table visualization enable end users to view and compare large amounts of data quickly and efficiently. A table is a grid that contains related data in a logical series of rows and columns. A table can also contain headers and a row for totals. Tables work well with quantitative comparisons where you are looking at many values for a single category. Table visual is a great choice to represent numerical data by category with multiple measures and display data as a tabular format with rows and columns. Then review and compare detailed data and exact values rather than visual representations. To create table, select Table Visual from Visualization section and drag project name, time taken and newly created measure max time taken to columns of the table visual. Now table visual looks like this. We can see the max per category in third column. Project A contains 2 entries and the maximum time taken of project A is 1.5. Project J contains 5 entries and the max time taken of project J is 3.5. Second method, we use DAX function in calculated column to calculate max per category in Power BI. With calculated columns, we can add new data to a table already in your model. But instead of querying and loading values into your new column from a data source, you create a DAX formula that defines the column's value. Create new calculated column. Select new column from Table Tools tab. Calculated columns calculate results by using DAX, a formula language meant to work with relational data like in Power BI Desktop. Calculated columns you create appear in the fields list just like any other field, but they will have a special icon showing its values or the results of a formula. You can name your columns whatever you want and add them to a report visualization just like other fields. We have renamed the calculated column as maxTT is the short form of maximum time taken. In Power BI, when you create a DAX formula for a new column, it will calculate a result for every row in the table. Column values are recalculated as necessary, like when the underlying data is refreshed and values have changed. Writing the DAX function to calculate max per category with calculate function. Function is the first option. We use max DAX function to find max value in time taken column from project table. Filter function which returns a table that represents a subset of another table or expression. The table we refer to is the project. So first choose the table name to filter. Next, for filter expression, provide the criteria as project name column is equal to earlier of project name. Earlier DAX function returns the current value of the specified column in an outer evaluation pass of the mentioned column. Earlier is useful for nested calculations where we want to use a certain value as an input and produce calculations based on that input. In Microsoft Excel, we can do such calculations only within the context of the current row. However, in DAX, we can store the value of the input and then make calculation using data from the entire table. The syntax of earlier DAX function is earlier open parenthesis column comma number closing parenthesis. First parameter column is a column or expression that resolves to a column. Second parameter number is a positive number to the outer evaluation pass. Earlier succeeds if there is a row context prior to the beginning of the table scan. Otherwise, it returns an error. The performance of earlier might be slow because theoretically it might have to perform several operations, that is, close to the total number of rows in the column times the same number. For example, if you have 10 rows in the column, approximately 100 operations could be required. If you have 100 rows, then close to 10,000 operations might be performed. That's it, we are done. Close the parenthesis of filter DAX function and calculate DAX function and press the enter key to see the results of this calculated column. See the new calculated column max TT with the values of max per category. Project E contains 3 entries and max per category calculated column returns the max value of project E as 2.5. Drag calculated column from source and place it in columns. In table visual, fourth column shows the result of calculated column and it is like the result of calculated measure in third column. So far, we saw how to calculate max per category using DAX function in measure and calculated column. Next, let's create a quick measure to calculate max per category and see the disadvantage of quick measure in calculating max per category. Create quick measure. Select quick measure from table tools tab. We can use quick measures to quickly and easily perform common powerful calculations. A quick measure runs a set of DAX commands behind the scenes, then presents the results for you to use in your report. You don't have to write the DAX. It's done for you based on input you provide in a dialog box. there are many available categories of calculations and ways to modify each calculation to fit your needs. When we select New Quick Measure, the Quick Measure window appears. It allows you to choose the calculation we want and the fields to run the calculation against. Choose the Select a Calculation field to see a long list of available quick measures. In Calculation field, select the Max per category. Then select Time Taken column from Source Table and place it in Base Value and change the aggregation to max of time taken. Next, select project name from source table and place it in category. Click OK to confirm the changes we have done so far in this window. We can see DAX functions automatically created by Quick Measure for calculating max per category in Power BI. After you have created a quick measure, it will appear in one of the tables on the fields pane, which is found on the right side of the screen. Power BI inserts the quick measure into whichever table you have currently selected. While it doesn't matter exactly where the quick measure is in your data, you can easily move it by selecting the quick measure. You can use a quick measure like any other table column. Just drag and drop it onto the report canvas or visualization fields. Renamed the quick measure as max TT and drag it to columns of the table visual. Now we can see the quick measure results in fifth column. If you notice, the results of quick measure is don't meet your requirement. It only replicates the same data of time taken column. This is the disadvantage of quick measure in calculating max per category in Power BI. These are the three different ways to calculate the max per category in Power BI. If this video helpful to you, like this video and share this video with others. Ask your questions or share your feedback in below comment section. To watch more videos like this, visit the official YouTube channel Pettaka Technologies. To book your slot for online training, visit the official website pettakatechnologies.com. To get notifications on upcoming videos, subscribe to this channel and activate bell icon. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching.